How are you feeling today? Do you feel fulfilled in life? The show will begin in 4 minutes. Are you ready? When was the last time you felt betrayed? When was the last time you felt loved? The show will begin in 3 minutes. Are you ready? What did it feel like to be in love? What is the most painful part of being in love? The show will begin in 2 minutes. Are you ready? Are you ready to be transformed? Are you ready to make a change? The show will begin in 1 minute. I hope you're ready. The show will begin in exactly 30 seconds. Get ready. Do you feel like everything is falling apart and making it difficult to continue to have a positive outlook on life? Well, what if I told you that with just a slight change to your strategy, you can instantly change your ability to have success? If you want to learn what that strategy is, then join me on today's show where we'll be discussing how to stay positive even while everything else is going wrong. That way you can open up your heart and your spirit to receive the blessings and opportunities that belong to you. Welcome to the Players Club. If you're paying attention to me and everyone else in the live stream, please say here present so that I know you're here present and actively participating. Welcome to the show, all you beautiful, beautiful, amazing people. How are you all doing on this fine Christmas Eve? As you can see, I got a special Christmas outfit on today, okay, especially for all of you. Oh, you guys can't see the bottom here. I wish you guys could see the bottom. Maybe I had to change the viewing angle so you could see the bottom. There it is. There's the bottom there for you guys to see it. Ah, there it is. Where's my... You can see it. Okay, there we go. All right, let's hop into our show. Who we got up here in the chat? I see Reva here, Amina is here, Annabelle is here, Naz is here, Ali is here, Marcy is here, Aya is here. Of course, we have our three moderators, Sharice, SH, and Scotty here. Who we got over in the YouTube chat? I see we got Elsa here, Andrea here. I see we had Ivy here very early. Welcome, Ivy, one of our amazing channel members. Viola is here. Welcome. We have Joni is here. Justice is here. Tracy Niles, one of our amazing channel members, is here. Let's see. Features is here. Let me scroll up, make sure I get everyone who is here. I see you guys putting in some Christmas spirit here. We got Justine here. Justice here. We got Humble here. Who else? Who else? Okay, we got Carolyn D here. We got Olga, one of our amazing channel members. I wanted to make sure. We got Henya, one of our amazing channel members. And of course, we have Missy America holding down our YouTube chat. All right, let's get this party started, okay? I know my bells and my lights are kind of distracting, so I'm gonna try not to move too much because it's gonna get in the audio there, but we'll deal with it, all right? All right. Let's hop into our point number 1 here. And this is actually a show, okay? We're not just gonna whiff around. We're actually gonna talk about something very important because obviously we're in the Christmas time. So for Christmas Eve, I want it to be a little bit more positive and a little bit more of a positive outlook. But I do want us to benefit from the show and benefit in ways that actually apply to what we discuss here, okay? So let's start off with number 1. See, control can be a very interesting thing because as you try harder to gain control, it can become increasingly more frustrating when you don't have control. So you guys know that my drawings aren't very good, so you're not going to judge them because it is Christmas Eve, okay? We're not judging them. This looks like a school bus, but let's imagine in this scenario, it's your G-Wagon, right? And in your G-Wagon, you have 2 road options, okay? And you have to understand, right, that whenever, oops, that looks like a 2, and that should have been a 1. Whenever you have choices in life, you have to realize that the only thing you can control in life is the decision that you choose to make with the information that you have at that moment. Remember, when we talk about dating and relationships, I always talk to you all about gathering as much information as you possibly can, okay? So that you can make good decisions with that good information. But what you have to understand and let go of is the idea that in the process of you going out and dating and meeting guys and building relationships and building connections, that you're always going to be able to control the outcome, okay? It is literally impossible. You will never be able to control how someone else responds to you, how they treat you, whether they choose to cherish you or whether they choose to neglect you. But what you can control is the things about yourself, presenting yourself in the way that is the most desirable, making sure that you don't share information that will put you at a disadvantage, right? And all of the things that we talk about and strategize about in the Players Club to make a decision on, am I going to invest in this person? Do I like what I'm seeing from them? Or is this not the person for me, right? And all of the other decisions that you're going to make in life in a holistic sense, okay? Now, the reason that I say that is because control can become something that you can become obsessed with that can also work against you, because you can only control a certain amount of things, especially when it comes to relationships and even when it comes to life. And if you don't focus on only controlling what pertains to you and what you can control, you will lose your mind with frustration that you feel like everything is going wrong because all of those things are outside of your control. Part of being able to stay positive even while things are going on around you, okay? Even while you're a little bit unhappy with the results, is understanding that as long as you focus on the things that are inside of your control, then that is the most important part to eventually seeing success. The reason I drew this example here is because as you creep up, right, and you decide which choice you're going to make, the only thing you can really control in this scenario is your car here, right? The only thing you have control of is the steering wheel and the direction you decide to go in, whether it be to go down choice 1 or choice number 2, right? Life is a whole bunch of choices and decisions based on hopefully good information. That's the only part of your life you can control, right? Preparing yourself to make the best decision, gathering your information so that you're aware of the outcomes of both of these decisions. But at the end of the day, once you make your decision, that is where your control ends. And you have to allow life to come to you in whatever capacity it's going to come to you after you choose to make the decision that you want to make, okay? So what I mean by that when it comes to your dating life, and the life that you have when you're going out and you're trying to make connections, right? Rather than focusing on, I need this outcome of this situation to be that this guy falls in love with me, that this guy wants to be with me so badly, and he desperately wants to make me his girlfriend and his wife. I want you to focus on what is the strategy that I must bring to my dating life and to my relationships that will give me the best chance to see the result that I want to see. Outside of, that and making sure that I hone in on my strategy and the things that I want to do and how I want to prepare myself to have good connections and good relationships, I allow the universe to take care of the rest of those things for me and structure and put in place the things that I want to see and the outcomes that I want to see. But it's not going to be within my control, and that's okay. All right? I know this is a little bit, a larger scope, but I want us to all be on the same page because I want to make sure that the mindset that you approach your dating life with is always in the right place, because if it's not, you're going to find yourself very frustrated with your results, okay? Are we on the same page so far? Is my sweater too distracting with the lights and all that good stuff? All right, let's hop into point number 2, okay? Okay. Strategy, very, very important to all of your success, whether it be in relationships, in life, in work, career, passion, all that good stuff. Let's kind of draw something out for you. And we'll put here, so we'll have the, all right. So the reason I'm drawing this out like this is because your life and your relationships is going to consist of a whole bunch of failures and wins. Meaning, in the process of you dating people, getting to know people. There's going to be things that worked for you and worked out for you, and there's going to be things that didn't work for you and didn't work out for you. The same way you're going to have some horrific dating stories, you're also going to have some really good dating stories, okay? And some really good moments in the process of building some of these relationships. So what I want you to kind of take from this, and in this point here, as it relates to staying positive regardless of what's going on without you, the most important part of being able to stay positive is to eliminate as much anxiety as you possibly can when it comes to how you go about life in your relationships. What do I really mean about that, or by that, right? So eliminating anxiety and strategizing is about understanding how failures and wins must be analyzed when it comes to your love life or your everyday life, in order to actually properly build a strategy that can work for you and have you see success. So what do I mean by that? When you come down here and you're building a strategy, you need to understand that your strategy is always going to consist of the failures and the wins. Now, specifically, it's going to consist of understanding how you can have less fail and how you can have more win. So what does that really mean? When you're thinking about, let's kind of turn this back into relationships. When you're thinking about your relationships and the things that have worked out for you, you actually have to do the job of analyzing, okay, this relationship with this guy, this type of guy, this dynamic, it didn't work out. But rather than just accepting that it didn't work out or saying to myself that it didn't work out, why don't I analyze what aspects of this relationship weren't working? And why weren't they working? What was my approach to the relationship? What was his approach to the relationship? How did our situations affect each other? How did we respond and interact with each other? You have to start getting good at asking yourself questions about your own life and about your own relationships to answer not only, oh, it didn't work out, but answer to yourself, why did it specifically not work out? The reason for that is because analyzing failures is such an important part to understanding how to avoid seeing those same failures on an ongoing basis. So, for example, if you have a situation where your last ex cheated on you, or he was a narcissist, rather than just saying, oh, my last ex was a narcissist, he was a horrible person, I would never date someone like that again. Cool that you can acknowledge that, but why don't we take it a step further and understand what were his personality traits, right? What were some of the early signs that he was a narcissist or someone that I wouldn't want to be in a relationship with? How did he interact with me? Before I knew and understood what I was dealing with, what were some of the things he said that either were red flags to me that I didn't think about at the time, or some of the actions he took that seemed like they were harmless at the time, but later on I realized how big of a deal they were. Analyzing your past and your past failures is such an important part of building out your strategy, because your strategy is always going to consist of trying your best to control what you can control and have less failures. So when we talk about all of this stuff in the Players Club, when we talk about dating, man, and we talk about relationships and all that good stuff, you want to understand that it's not just about us hearing me talk and hearing me say, don't do this, don't do that, look out for this and look out for that. You actually have to do the job of analyzing your own life and seeing how do those things work or not work in your own dating history. As well, you have to be looking at your wins in terms of building a strategy, because your wins are such an important part of building that strategy, because you want to have those happen on an ongoing basis. You want to have more wins, more of the time. And it sounds simple in itself to just say, yeah, of course I want to have more successful relationships. Of course I want to meet more men. Of course I want to be more attractive. But we also have to look back at your life and analyze what were the things that were working for you. What were you good at? When in a situation where you found the most men coming to you and approaching you and talking to you and striking conversation with you like you've always wanted, what were you doing then? What was your mind state then? Where were you at in your life then? For example, if you're saying to yourself, oh, I know that when I'm looking back on my life and I'm analyzing the situations I've been in, I know that when I was in a relationship and I was happiest, that is when I actually got the most amount of men approaching me. For some of you, let me know in the chat if that's happened to you, where you were in a happy relationship, doing good, not looking for love, and that happened to be the time where all the men were approaching you, asking you questions, asking for your number, asking to take you out, and all of that good stuff, okay? So if you know that that's you, and you're analyzing your past and you're thinking to yourself, I wonder what was going on that at that specific time in my life, at that state that I was in, all of the guys seemed to be the most attracted to me. Then you do some analyzing of when was I in that mental state? When I was in a relationship? Other times when I wasn't in a relationship or I was in a different mental state, did I get that same reaction and response from men? If the answer to that question is no, then you have to start analyzing, is there a correlation between the mind state and the mind frame that I had when I was the most attractive to men and they approached me the most, right? And is there also a correlation between my regular mindset or the mindset that I have when I'm not in a happy relationship or I'm very single or I'm very desperate and how many men approach me or ask for my number, okay? And the reason I say that and break that down like that is because understanding how and why you've received wins is also important to building your strategy because you want more of those wins. You want to understand how you can duplicate that success to continue seeing it over and over again. And as your strategy becomes more and more clear, you begin to funnel and funnel and funnel yourself closer and closer to your ultimate goal, whether it be to have a happy relationship, to make more money, to have more success in your career, whatever the case may be, right? You're always analyzing information of your own past and your own situations, and you're figuring out how you can fail less with the experience that you've had failing and how you can get more wins with the experience that you've had winning. Okay? Does that make sense? All right, chat, let's hop into our next segment. Someone said I want the sweater with bells. I got this sweater at a very special store. I don't know if I've ever seen, have you ever seen a sweater with bells, with lights, and with, it's a lot, okay? The only thing that could make it even crazier is like sparkles or something, okay? I really went all out for all of you, the beautiful people. Let's hop into point number 3 here. Oh, it's so jingly. It's so jolly. All of this jingling. All right. Now, we talked about strategizing. Now, let's even break down a little bit more about strategizing and how we want it to work for you, because I want you to be successful, okay? So let's imagine here, you know my drawing's not very good, okay? So we're gonna ignore that. You got the store over here, and here you've got a distance, even though this distance is very short. You got a distance here, and we have you over here. And let's say that this distance here in between is 10 miles or 16 kilometers. Okay? So this distance here between you and the store is 10 miles or 16 kilometers, and you have to walk. Okay? So in order for you to get from point A, which is you here, to point B, which is the store, you're gonna have to walk 10 miles, hypothetically, okay? Now, in order for you to do that, you might be thinking to yourself, damn, well, this 10 miles is gonna take me a while to walk to that in that direction. It's gonna take a lot of effort to walk in that direction. I don't know if I have the energy or I don't know if I have the spirit to be able to walk in that direction. I don't know if I'm gonna be able to make that journey. But the journey of walking 16 kilometers or 10 miles is not really about taking one giant leap or jump 10 miles long and making it to your destination. Really and truthfully, the only thing you need to do to get to that destination of reaching the store is just put one foot in front of the other, assuming you have 2 feet. I'm assuming you have 2 feet, okay? All you have to do to make it to the store is focus on putting your left foot in front of your right foot. And eventually, as you repeat that process, you will eventually walk your entire 10 miles or 16 kilometers and get yourself to your destination. Now, why do I give that example, and how is that relevant to you and your life? See, you have to understand, part of your ability to stay positive, even while things may feel like they're falling apart, or if you're not seeing the outcomes that you want, whether it be in your relationships or your general life. You have to understand, in order for you to feel like you're progressing and stay motivated in your journey towards your desired success, you have to allow yourself to feel small wins so that you can stay motivated to continue on the journey regardless of the bigger scale or what's going on around you. So what do I really mean by that? For example, if you say, I want to really have a great boyfriend and a great relationship and eventually have a husband, you might think to yourself, well, I've got to do so much. And I'm watching Tomisin's show, and it's so hard because it's so complicated when I'm trying to understand men and understand how they think and know what they want. It's like 30 things at once, and I don't know how to understand men. I don't know how to talk to them. I don't know how to deal with them, and they're always playing me. And you start freaking out because you're thinking about how far you have to go to get to your desired result, which is to have a husband, okay? Rather than focusing on the smallest possible action you can take towards getting to your desired overall result. And in this case, when it comes to having a husband, the obvious desired result is having a husband and a great life partner. But if you break it down and break it down and break it down to the smallest possible step, the easy win that you can have on a daily or regular weekly basis is putting yourself out there so that you can meet people that could eventually be that great, amazing, awesome, loving husband of yours that you're going to spend the rest of your life with. So in order to actually see success, even if you're not seeing or meeting your husband right now, and even if you're not dating him right now, even if you don't have a wedding ring on your finger right now, you can still have small wins by putting yourself out there every day or putting yourself out there every week, whether that means going to a dance class, a dance club, whatever you want to do, okay? Whether that means going to a Zumba class where you're surrounding yourself with people, whether that means joining a book club where you're able to meet people, whether that means joining a jujitsu or karate class where you're able to be around people, right? And that can become your small win where you say, putting myself out there is the one thing that I can truly control and the one thing that I can truly strategize around. And every time I put myself out there, I'll acknowledge that as a win. Every time I put one foot in front of the other, I will acknowledge that as a win for myself and my overall goals. I won't worry myself with how close I'm getting to being with the husband, right? The same way, I'm not going to bother myself worrying about, oh, I took one step. How close am I to the 10 miles to get to the store? All I'm going to think about is today, this day that I woke up, did I put one foot in front of the other? Okay, right? And in this example, it would be today, when I woke up, did I put myself out there and give myself an opportunity to meet the love of my life? Okay. I know a lot of you tend to have this feeling that I want to meet the love of my life so much and so badly. But the first thing you start thinking after you think you want to meet the love of your life is, but I don't want to go anywhere. And I don't want to leave my house to leave the love of my life, to meet the love of my life. I just want him to show up into my life somehow. That's not how that works. Okay? And if you're going to rely on dating apps to help you meet the love of your life, you're going to be quite disappointed. Okay? Like majority of us are. So I say that to say, if you're actually wanting to see success, and if we're talking about relationships, you have to figure out how you can take the smallest possible step that allows you to see wins on a regular basis. And as you continue to see those wins on a regular basis, you eventually get closer and closer to your goal. Every time you put yourself out there, you give yourself an opportunity to meet the love of your life. And that's the kind of outlook I want you to have, especially when it comes to your relationships, because it's the easiest way to keep yourself motivated, to continue to put yourself out there, to continue to meet new men, to continue to have that confidence and that energy that makes you so attractive to them when they finally come across you or approach you, right? Because we'll talk about something here at the end. It's so important that you give yourself that opportunity and have yourself in the right mind state, because if none of this is working right and you're not giving yourself small wins, by the time a man does approach you, you're going to be in a place where you're actually repelling all the men who are attracted to you initially, because you have a particular narrative in your own mind playing of your belief system of what you expect the outcome to be based on all the other things you've been seeing or experiencing. Okay, so we're going to get to that at the end, but for now, we'll keep it there. Let's hop into our point number 4. I'm jingling a lot, okay? Alrighty. We all on the same page so far, okay? That's okay? I hope so. All right, let's hop into point number 4. Now, okay. We had our fun, okay? We had a nice time talking about general topics, okay? Now it's stop pooping time. I guess today we'll call it stop jingling time, okay? I actually want us to get serious here because this is a very serious topic, okay? And a very serious issue. I know it's slightly unrelated to relationships, but it's actually very related to relationships. So we're gonna kind of draw out a scenario for you here. And I want to use this scenario to explain to you a topic which is uber important, okay? So let's just say, for the sake of example, you have an assignment due. And you have this assignment due, let's just say that this assignment is due in 1 week. And it's got to be 10,000 words. Your English teacher hates you, okay? You're writing this essay assignment that is required of you, and let's just say, for whatever reason, this is 80% of your grade. Some of you feel like you're back in school now. You really are, okay? And in this assignment, it's super important that you make sure you cite everything right, you talk about all the points that you're supposed to hit, and you fill up that 10,000 word count, okay? So in this essay, you begin doing this essay, right? And you start and you do 1 paragraph, you do 2 paragraphs, and you're writing away. And then halfway through you writing, okay, you stop and you say, oh, I think I want to go and clean the bathroom because my bathroom's really dirty. And so for, let's just say, this process here of the essay, that takes you like 2 days, right? Because you spend some time writing that essay out, and then you spend the rest of the time washing your bathroom for whatever reason, because you just felt that you needed to do that. Then you come back again and you say, all right, I'm gonna actually get serious about this essay, right? You're writing out, and then halfway through, as you're writing again, you say, I was just thinking, I actually want to start meal prepping because I want to be so much more of a healthier person this year. And so now the process of you writing this takes you another 3 days, okay? Because when you write it, and by the time you write it and you start doing your meal prep, you waste a lot of time doing meal prep and not a lot of time writing. Then you begin going again, and now you're like, oh, I'm really gonna get serious this time, right? I'm really gonna get this going. And then as you're writing, your best friend calls you about an emergency situation, and you're like, oh my gosh, I need to stop everything I'm doing. I need to talk to my best friend. And so all of a sudden, right, you're on 3 days now of you trying to get through this essay, and you're a day late on your assignment because you only have a week, and now you've spent a total of 8 days working on this assignment here. Now, Here's what I want you to kind of take from this and understand. When it comes to drugs and alcohol, or any sort of vice that you are using to escape your problems, you might think to yourself, this vice feels good. It feels good to participate in this. It feels good to do this. I get cheap thrills out of this. What you don't realize, though, is you're actually hurting yourself, wasting your own time, and making it harder to actually see the success and the outcomes that you want out of your own life, whether it be relationships, in your job, in your career, whatever the case may be. Why? Because every time you participate in that activity that you enjoy, that you're using to escape your problems, all that ends up happening is you're putting what's meant to be done for you, what you're meant to be solving or working on, you're just putting it on pause. You're putting it on pause while you go and escape and do whatever it is that you want to do in terms of feeling good for the moment. Now, you might get cheap thrills out of it. So for example, right, you might have your version of escapism may not be drugs and alcohol. Maybe your version of escapism is going to the club, right? You want to have a really successful relationship and you want to, have a really nice, amazing partner, and you want to have a really great, deep connection. But rather than actually focusing on working on yourself, building yourself up, putting yourself out there in places where you'll actually see a good result, you say, that's a lot of work, a lot of effort. I watch Tomisin's show. It makes my brain hurt. I'd rather just go to the club. I'd rather just go to the bar, get drunk, have some fun, maybe some cheap thrills, not think about life too seriously, and enjoy myself for the time being. That's not actually helping you. It's helping you in the sense of helping you escape your problems, right? Escape your assignment, right? It might sidetrack you from your goal. It might get your mind off of what you're supposed to be doing, but eventually you have to come back here and eventually finish your essay, right? So to speak. Because the 10,000 words aren't going to write themselves, assuming we don't have ChatGPT in this scenario, right? The 10,000 words aren't going to write themselves, which means every time you spend time doing anything else but solving this problem head on, addressing this essay head on, all that happens is the essay stays at the same length that it always was. So every time you come back to it, it's the same place you left it at. Every time you participate in one of those escapisms, it's you're only putting yourself on pause and your situation's on pause, and they continue as soon as you come back to them. So I know that kind of sounds like, well, what does that have to do with being positive and being able to stay positive regardless of the circumstance and the things around me, right? Because it's very important to understand what are my own personal versions of escapism. For all of us, it's a little bit different, okay? Sneaky says, yeah, like Bumble is the same. Your version of escapism could even be a dating app. I know you don't want to hear this, okay? The reason your version of escapism could be a dating app is because if you know, based on my own experience, I haven't had success on dating apps. I haven't been able to find good partners or have good dates on them. And I meet a lot of the same type of men who are all not the type of men that I'm looking for. And then you say to yourself, well, damn, other people tell me to go here and do this, join a run club, better myself, meet men in different places. That's way too hard. I'd rather just go on the dating app, swipe left, swipe right, chit chat with some people, feel good for a little bit, and go on about my day. The problem is that easily becomes a version of your escapism, because rather than face your problem head on and actually figure out how you can solve your issue and take steps forward to progress towards where you want to actually be ultimately, you're instead sidetracking yourself, doing things like washing the dishes, doing things like meal prepping, all of these things that take your energy and focus away from the place you're trying to succeed in, as silly as it sounds. And you can get into the habit of having so much escapism in your life that you actually never push resume on any of your issues. And so what do you think happens when you never push play or resume on any of your issues and start working on them? They're just issues forever. And you're unhappy forever with no feeling of progression forever. And after a while, it starts to snowball out of control. Because as you feel, remember, progression and your motivation is so important to being able to solve your problems like we talked about last time. If you don't take care of that progression and you don't have any more motivation to solve your problem because you feel no progression in the problem, now all of a sudden you start to feel worse about the issue because you feel so behind and you feel like you've wasted so much time. And then there's a snowball effect to where you feel like, oh, now that I've wasted so much time in my escapism and I realize how behind I am on this issue in my love life, in my career, in my passions, whatever it may be. Now I want to escape those problems even more because every time I think about how much I've been escaping those problems, I realize how horrible they are now. And I realize how much I want to run away from those problems even more. Okay? So don't allow yourself that vicious spiral by allowing yourself to participate in a whole bunch of your escapist activities, okay? And I'm not telling you this as someone who's better than you. I'm telling you this as someone who's lived it, okay? We all have our own version of escapist activities that we use to put our problems on pause and focus our energy on something else that will just make us feel good in the moment. Okay? Nothing wrong with wanting to feel good, but remember, the best feeling is progressing towards your version of success. The best feeling is chipping away at your issues one by one and getting what we called earlier, small wins. When you receive small wins, it becomes so motivating and it builds up like a snowball effect where you can continue to push forward. Okay? The gorgeous life says, like the 6th pair of shoes I just bought. Tell me in the chat, what do you think, based on some self-awareness, is your version of escapism? What do you tend to turn to anytime you want to put your problems on hold and not think about them too much, okay? What is it for some of you? I'm curious, okay? I want to know. We're having a conversation today. It's Christmas Eve, okay? I see some people say smoking, food and TikTok, the gym, video games, binge eating, shopping, scrolling, the gym, okay? Mary Jane, education, a new degree. Education is your escapism? Okay. Beauty products, chilling with my friends and family. Someone said sleep, writing poetry, scrolling on TikTok, therapy, sleep, phone, Discord, buying perfume, okay? Rum, all right, napping, interesting, eating chocolate, gym as well, clothes, Jesus is your escapism, okay? Right, study consciousness and post memes on the topic, okay? Interesting. Snacking sometimes, smoking, right? Master waiting, what? A new man? Oh, wow, okay. So the reason I say that, it's good because your brains are moving, right? It's good. Recognizing what your version of escapism is good to understanding, okay, I know that I turn to this thing whenever I don't want to deal with my problems. Now, let's figure out exactly what problems am I escaping. So then my second question to some of you will be, okay, we know what your version of escapism is. Tell me, what problem are you trying to escape from in your life whenever you participate in your version of escapism, okay? Because if you're self-aware enough to know what your version of escapism is, you're probably also self-aware enough to realize what it is you're trying to actually escape. I know that's a very deep question, but it's okay. We're friends. We've had lots of conversation. We're like besties. So it's okay for us to be honest here. This is a group setting. It's like group therapy, okay? What is the thing that you're trying to escape from with your escapism? Bree says being a single mom, okay. Aline says, say it again. What are you trying to escape from? So we have escapism and the things that you can participate in, but what is the thing that you're actually trying to escape from if you're being honest with yourself, right? Rosie said someone making me feel insecure. Someone else said a healthy body, childhood, toxic household. Someone said right now I'm trying to escape from the thought of my mother passing away. Sorry about that. Rest in peace. This channel, Blair says, okay, from the depression and burnout, all right, feeling financially insecure, boredom, okay, interesting, escape our self-love, like your own self-love, the power of my spirit. Great Fortune Cookie says loneliness. Nicole says fear, right? Feelings of inadequacy, escaping consciousness, right? Organization, fear of failure, the blur of life. This is very interesting, okay? The reason I asked those questions is because that should help you, right? If you're being honest with yourself, understand what are the areas you should be attacking. Because your areas of escapism, right? The things that you're trying to escape from the most, let me say this after I erase this. The areas that you're trying to escape the most in your life are the exact areas that you should be targeting with all of your energy and might. Because when you understand that you trying to put energy towards escaping them is not actually helping your problem get solved, and you also understand that that problem not getting solved is making your life feel like you want to escape it more, then you realize your true version of happiness is attacking that issue head on with as much as your time and energy as you possibly can, because then you'll actually see happiness that you'll no longer need to escape your life in order to feel happy momentarily. So if you want real happiness, then you put all of your energy into that thing you've been trying to escape, as weird as it sounds, all right? Let's hop into point number 5, okay? And we'll have a discussion about this one as well. So, let's think of you here. We're gonna draw you real nice today with your extra large head. You know you have an extra large head, extra large. We're gonna give you hair all the way down to your booty, okay? You got long hair today. I'm feeling nice and jolly, so I'm gonna draw you with long hair. I'm gonna draw you real nice, real big eyes, beautiful eyes, right? Nice face, nice nose, right? Now, I can't really draw no hourglass body, so don't be thinking we're gonna do that today. But we'll give you a nice round booty, a nice, amazing BBL, you know, the diaper BBL that they all be going with. And then we have the rest of your body like that. You like that? Okay, I think that looks pretty cool, right? Pretty cute. I think the men would like that. They love the diaper booty, the BBL, right? All right, so very important. This part of staying positive in order to see success and see the outcomes you want to see, regardless of the situation that you're in, you want to make sure that your self-talk is taken care of. What do I mean by self-talk? As you go through life, for example, and you start dating men, right? You're going on dates. You start to date people, and maybe a lot of those men that you start dating, they ghost you a lot, okay? So you start building this narrative in your mind, and you start saying to yourself, damn, I always get ghosted, right? And here's the thing. See, you might be thinking to yourself, well, yeah, I go on a date, and if I get ghosted a lot, of course, I always get ghosted. What's wrong with saying that? The thing about it is, your self-talk actually starts to do something very interesting. So you say, I always get ghosted. Then you meet, let's say 2 of your boyfriends have cheated on you. You start saying to yourself, we'll say something like this, right? Every man cheats on me, okay? And let's say you've had an experience with a guy who was dating you, and then all of a sudden he popped out with a brand new girlfriend, okay? I never get chosen, right? Let's say, for the sake of example, you hang out with your girlfriends and you go out, and for whatever reason, you start to notice that guys are always hitting on your girlfriends, but not so many guys come up to you. So you start saying something else to yourself where you say, nobody wants me. Now, there's a reason I drew all of these things around you, because your self-talk is actually like a cloud that surrounds you. However you choose to talk to yourself, all of those narratives are literally following you around wherever you go. So as you release those things into the world, whether it be through your mouth or through your thoughts, and you release them out into the universe, right? They're actually staying right in your vicinity here. And as you move left and as you move right, they're just following you, okay? Like a cloud. So as soon as you get close enough to someone else to feel that cloud, feel that aura that is surrounding you, they immediately get hit with the wave of all of this self-talk, right? All of these narratives that you've built about yourself. So as soon as you come in contact, just close enough for them to come in contact with this wave, right? That is kind of surrounding you here with this cloud. Now all of a sudden they're like, oh, that does not feel good. That does not look right. That's not the type of energy I want in my life. And then all of a sudden, right, this self-talk that you thought, oh, I'm just repeating back the things that I'm seeing in my life or the things that I'm noticing about my life, you don't realize that all of this surrounding you is actually baggage that's actually making it harder for you to attract people into your life and attract the type of relationships that you want. Because everyone that comes in contact with this cloud is repulsed by it and repelled by it. Okay? So why is this important? In order to be able to stay positive so that you can see the outcomes that you want regardless of the situation. You have to make sure that in any case, in any scenario, in any outcome, whether it be you get dumped on a date, you get ghosted, a guy flops on you, whatever the case may be, you never allow that to penetrate your shield and your narrative of yourself. Even if that means you feel like you're living in a delusion and you're talking to yourself and about yourself in a way that you feel is wholly untrue, you continue to do that. Why? Because you do not want to allow your cloud to be filled with all of these negative narratives of how you're never going to be loved and how nobody wants you and how nobody wants to be with you and you always get neglected and you always get mistreated, okay? Because as you speak it, so shall it be. And that is exactly what you will continue to receive in your relationships and in your life. So then it will become like a self-fulfilling prophecy. As you believe in the narrative, it operates and it lives around you. And then you continue to see it and you continue to believe in it and you continue to believe in it. Now, self-talk, obviously, it's easier said than done. So my easiest advice to you is, even if you can't believe it or foresee it, lie to yourself, okay? So every time a guy ghosts you, I want you to build a narrative in your mind that says, oh, you know what? I'm so glad that I have some time to spend to myself. He probably was so mesmerized by my beauty, he didn't even think he had an opportunity with me. He probably told his boys, there's probably 80 more guys that want her anyways, okay? That's how I want you to be talking to yourself. I know it sounds so stupid, so foolish, and so dumb, but it's such an important part of keeping your aura in the place that you want it to be attracting the right people. Someone said, so basically delusional? Yes, but delusional in a positive way. Delusional about the fact that you are desirable and you are attractive. Now, I will say to that, you're not just delusional and you don't actually work on being more attractive and more desirable, right? You continue to invest and you work on yourself, and then you allow that to be your narrative about yourself regardless of how other people treat you. So your delusion is not just delusion in the sense that, oh, I believe something of myself, but I don't work towards it. Your delusion is in combination with your action. And then it becomes so much easier to believe in that delusion after a while. So what I mean by that, for example, let's say for the sake of example, you're like, oh my God, I am so sexy. I look amazing in this red dress. My waist is so small. My dump truck is so big. No one can top me. When I walk into a room, everyone stops and stares. But in combination with that, you also are actually going to the gym. In combination with that, you're also actually doing abs every day. In combination with that, you're also actually, going on the Stairmaster every day, right? And doing cardio. So as you're speaking to yourself, what you're considering a delusion, you're also taking action on that delusion. But then what happens is, as you take action on it, it stops becoming something that you're lying to yourself about. And you actually start looking in the mirror and saying, no, like actually my waist is smaller. No, like actually my quads are bigger and my booty actually is bigger. It's not a lie. And then you start saying to yourself, no, I'm actually seeing the pump now. It's not even a delusion anymore. And then it starts to become a positive snowball effect, where as you take action in combination with your delusion belief, right, or your delusional belief, now all of a sudden it stops being a delusion anymore and it starts just being reality. And you stop having to force yourself to believe that you're lying to yourself, and you start just saying, no, like this is actually true. Now we're in the positive snowball of where things are true, and as you're seeing them to be true, you're believing in them more, and you're acting as if this is actually what you're experiencing and this is actually your life, okay? So it can become a really positive effect on your life, your self-talk, or a negative effect, and we're wanting to turn this into a positive effect on your life, okay? Deb says, in your past life, who were you? I don't know. You'd probably have to ask my creator, right? Does that make sense to all of you beautiful people in the chat and all those 5 points, okay? By the way, if you guys missed any of those points and you want to rewatch them, you can always go to my YouTube channel, which is just above my head for those of you on TikTok. Type in my name. It's just Tomisin, Tomisin, and you'll be able to rewatch the show from start to finish and see all the points, okay? Because I'm live on YouTube at the same time as I am on TikTok, for those of you wondering, okay? Does that make sense to all of you? Guys have any questions about these 5? I know it's a little bit outside of the spectrum of just physically dating, and we're kind of going a little bit more into the spiritual and the overall arcing themes, but I think it's a good little change up for the Christmas holiday, okay? For today, right? Christmas Eve. Now, I want to answer a lot of your questions here because I know today's a special day and we have a lot of different type of questions. So I want to make sure I answer them all for you all today here. Okay, let's start off with some of our donations, okay, which comes from the YouTube chat, of course. You know, the YouTube chat, very generous. Let's start off with Nicole. Nicole just donates a super chat, super sticker of $20. Thank you so much for your donation, Nicole. Great Fortune Cookie. She donated 250, I don't know what that currency is, but it's 250 of it, DKK. Someone tell me what DKK currency is. What is that currency? I think it's like close to like $50. Anyways, round of applause for Great Fortune Cookie for that amazing donation. She says, Tommy, Merry Christmas. Or you said, no, you said it like T.I., Merry Christmas, okay? Since I found you in November, you've been the most stable male figure in my life. Isn't that so wonderful, yet sad at the same time? My present for you, please wear bunny ears for Easter. Okay, I'll try and remember that, bunny ears for Easter, okay? I got this sweater at a this sweater was like $100, okay? Because it's got the lights inside it. It's crazy, okay? So maybe I'll get bunny ears as well. DK, Denmark, okay, Denmark. All right, I like that. Denmark. Kroner. Interesting. Thank you for that. I appreciate that. And thank you to all of you who have donated. I can't see it in the TikTok chat, but I know some of you have donated there, so I appreciate that as well, right? Someone says, Thompson, are you from Somalia? No, I'm Nigerian, okay? I'm a Nigerian man. LP Baby says, what if we need more intensive help with breaking bad patterns? Are you saying, can I help you? Oh, that reminds me, okay? For those of you who have a personal question for me, right? You want to ask me a question about your situationship or relationship, and you want my advice on it. I have a hotline that you can go to and submit your questions by going into the link in my bio if you're on TikTok, or the link in my description if you're on YouTube. You click where it says private relationship advice. You can ask me a relationship advice question about anything relationship related or just your life related, and I answer it for you, okay? It doesn't take me very long. These holidays, I'm making sure to keep up, because I know a lot of you guys have holiday questions and situations, so I'm making sure to keep up with them as much as possible. I'm going to do a couple right after the show. So make sure you're asking your questions there if you have like a really specific situation, okay? Someone said, Nigerian? Yes, I'm Nigerian. I'm Yoruba, okay? Yoruba, if you guys know the different tribes in Nigeria, okay? Let's see here. I want to make sure that I get to these questions. Someone says, Merry Christmas to you. Mandy says, they feel the energy of what you tell yourself, and then they sense that on the outside in your attitude and body language, etc. Very, very true, right? And I want you guys to never forget that. Flower says, all the self-talk comes in meditation to be examined, allowed, surrendered, released. It's hard, so emotional, but necessary. Yes, I've had a very abysmal self-talk. It's okay. We're all learning and we're all getting better. So it's not a problem. I actually, believe it or not, chat, I actually do start majority of my days, not every day, but I start majority of my days with some meditation. Okay, I just listen, and meditation doesn't have to be something super hard. Meditation can be literally just type in meditation 10 minutes on YouTube, and there's lots of different tracks that will guide you. They'll give you what's called a guided meditation. It just allows you to steer your brain in the particular direction that is most beneficial for you, and think about the things that you should be thinking about. Think about your day, think about your desires and things like that. And it helps center you for the day. At least it helps for me. So I would advise that for you if you are looking for something to be able to ground you on an ongoing basis, right? Because I see, like Great Fortune Cookie said, I'm the most consistent male figure in her life, right? That can be something consistent for you that helps to keep you grounded in that type of meditation, right? Stardust says, yes, I do shower meditation, visualize the water, wash the negative, and cover me with the positive. That's perfect. I like that. I like that. I like that. Someone says, what does the shirt say? I'm going to show it to you. Okay. I'm going to let you just read it. There you go. Read that. Can you read that? There you go. All right. You can, you guys could. I wish I had the perfect angle so you guys could read it the whole time that I'm there. Cherry says, Joe Dispenza meditations are amazing. They are amazing. They are very amazing. Very amazing. I actually have tried those before. Nicole donates $20 in the YouTube chat. She says, point number 5 was worth everything. I used to have horrible self-talk, self-esteem, etc. Thank you for everything and for wearing that lovely Christmas sweater. It's just as precious and beautiful as your drawings. Much love. Thank you so much, Nicole Cottam, one of our most generous and amazing members of the YouTube chat. By the way, I wanted to mention to you guys, oh, did I just forget what I was going to say here? You guys brought something to my attention and I just forgot it in an instant. But anyways, thank you so much, Nicole Cottam. I appreciate that. Oh, as it was, I just remembered, as it was related to self-talk. The other thing about self-talk is it's very funny because I lost it again. I had it in my mind and then I was like, I lost it again. Self-talk is very important though. And it does affect your self-esteem, and it does affect how people will approach you. Oh, that's what I was gonna say. One of the things you'll notice with self-talk is that's why when you're in a relationship, you end up attracting a lot more people than when you're not. Because when your validation of how desirable or wanted you are by men, or just people in general, is based on whether or not you're in a relationship, when you're feeling loved from a guy, right? And you're feeling that he really wants you and is pursuing you, your self-talk starts to be in the opposite sense where you're saying, I'm lovable, I'm desirable, guys want me, guys want to treat me well, I receive princess treatment, because that's actually what you're experiencing. So ironically, when that becomes your self-talk and your narrative, you go out into the world with that existing narrative surrounding you. So then the men that you come across end up being so attracted to you because your narrative is exactly that men are so attracted to me. Men desire me. Men want to do things for me. That's your belief of yourself. So ironically, that's why you end up attracting the most men in a state where you're in a happy relationship, and vice versa, where you're the most desperate and the most needy, you end up repelling the most men, and your phone is always dry, and no one ever asks you any questions or ever messages you or DMs you, because nobody cares and everyone seems to overlook you. Because your self-talk, when you don't have a relationship or you don't have a guy, is like, oh, no one likes me, no one wants me, my phone is dry, no one wants to approach me. And then as that becomes your belief in your self-talk, that surrounds you, and then everyone else is repelled by that. So it's quite interesting how that works, okay? We gotta like do some sort of study on it. We kind of already do, but yeah, you know, I just think it's very interesting. Olga donates 20 euros in the YouTube chat. She says, thank you so much for your shows. You guys are definitely feeling the Christmas spirit up in the YouTube chat. So I appreciate all of you beautiful people in all of the chats, all right? Cherry says, as soon as I shift my perspective to myself, I get the most attention. Trust me. Hey, I tell you all the time, you beautiful souls, that the most attractive version of you as a woman is the version of you that is heavily investing into yourself. Because when you're heavily investing into yourself, that's when the men say, ooh, I like what you got going on. I want to be a part of that. Okay? You got to think of yourself like a train. No, not that type of train. You got to think of yourself like a train in the sense that your train is moving in a particular direction, moving in a forward direction. And the people that are really attracted to you, they'll come to you and they'll say, I want to be a part of that train. I want to hop on your train. And I want to be a part of what you have going on, okay? And that's the whole thing, right? That's what makes you very enticing and attractive. When people see that you've got some magic, some je ne sais quoi going on with you, they all of a sudden, they want a piece of that magic, both women and men. That's what makes you very enticing to people. And the way you become that super enticing, that super attractive to people is simply by investing into yourself. People are fascinated with you when you invest into yourself. Vice versa, when you spend as little time as possible investing into yourself and you're always thinking about other people's lives and what they're doing and investing into them instead, that makes you very undesirable and very unattractive to people. And we don't want that for you. We don't want that for you. Feature says, not a train. What type of train? We're not doing this today. We're not doing this today. It's a Christmas Eve. Tracy Niles donates $20 in the YouTube chat. Thank you so much. She just says, you are amazing. Thank you so much, Tracy Niles. And thank you to all of you who donate. This is like a donate special show. Okay. All right, chat. Let's hop into, because I do want to go a little bit extra on our Discord questions today. So let's hop into our next segment, which is going to be our React segment. We're going to react to some TikTok videos that you guys have sent me about love, life, and relationships. I'm going to be doing a little bit less jingling because I'm going to be sitting down. And then after we do our React segment, you know, we're going to do our Discord segment. So make sure if you have questions for me about your relationship or situationship, especially during this holiday season, send it in to our Players Club Discord, which is available in my TikTok bio or the link in my description. Put it into our relationship advice forum, and I'm going to be answering all your relationship advice questions at the end of the show in our last segment. But what's coming up now is our React segment. In the meantime, while I clean up and prepare for our React segment, spam up your headphone emojis, spam up your camcorder emojis, spam up your jingle bell emojis, and we're going to hop into this. I'm going to play a little intermission video for you guys while I clean up. This one is going to come from one of our favorites, Margarita. And she's going to be talking about how to rebrand and start a new life today in 16 steps. I'll be back with you guys in a moment. Margarita is going to do a little bit of explaining while I clean up, okay?
Husband, or doesn't matter who, or I will be talking to my mother, let's say, and I'll ask her something that she will reply in a way that will trigger my anxious attachment, or my husband will. Like, let's give this never actually happened, but let's just imagine something close to this. Like, I'll ask him, like, oh, do you think you should get divorced in your 50s if somebody did this? And he'll be like, yeah, sure you should. And I'll feel, oh my God, he could divorce me and abandon me. This again hasn't happened, but I'm just summing up a series of conversation that we might have had. I then feel my anxious attachment get really triggered. It really comes up and I'm like, oh my God, what does that mean? I have to ask him questions. I have to make sure. It's like you go into this cycle of extreme self-soothing. You just want to make it be okay and make it go away. And you want to make that person tell you something that will make you feel better. For you, it could be you're out with your partner, he looked at someone else. Or you ask him his opinion on, I don't know, who, Andrew Tate, and he's like, yeah, I actually quite like him, and you're like, oh my God, he's a misogynist, it's too much for me, I can't do this. You start really labeling people's opinions and things to mean a lot more than they should to you. And having an alter ego can allow you to really step out of putting so much value on people's opinions and random things that they say, which is something that my mind gets attached to. Or like if my friend doesn't invite me somewhere or something, I can get triggered, or anything, any myriad of things. You're anxiously attached, you know exactly what I mean, or most likely you are. A lot of you write to me, oh, what is it? He watches pornography. Should I ask him why he watches it? Well, the reality is, baby girl, that if he watches it and he enjoys it, you just need to accept a person for who they are. By accept, I don't mean be with him if that's not something that you want to have in your life. By accept, I mean understand that that is him. There's nothing he's going to say that's going to soothe your soul and make you feel better about it. He's not going to tell you, oh yes, the girls there are more attractive than you or not more attractive than you. You're not going to push him for an answer, okay? So instead, you need to work on yourself and your alter ego. When I think of my alter ego, I'm thinking Brigitte Bardot. I'm thinking South of France, Brigitte Bardot. I'm thinking Angelina Jolie, but not wild Angelina Jolie, like Mr. and Mrs. Smith Angelina Jolie, okay? I anchor my thoughts and my mind to these epic women. I'm just giving you examples off the top of my dome, okay? I've got other examples in my bag that I like to emulate, okay? And I'm thinking, never, ever, ever would that woman be caught dead or alive asking a man what he thinks about Jessica, who's sitting at the next table when they're out for brunch. Like, who cares about Jessica? Who cares about her? Who cares about Jessica and her whole life and existence? Because you are so the main character. You are so not in need of his approval that you just would never ask that question. Think about the character that would ask that question. She's that type of needy, pick-me girl who is really hard to deal with. And you'd even push away amazing people being that type of personality. Number 2, you need to focus on your strengths and forget about your weaknesses. A lot of people, when they're trying to rebrand themselves, they focus so much on, like, let's say you've really lagged on fitness. Oh, that's it. I'm going to be fitness 500. I don't know what that is, fitness 500, but that's going to be me. I'm going to be Gymshark. I'm going to be this one, that one, the other one. You need to focus on what your natural strengths are to feel good about yourself. If you're always focusing on what you cannot do and trying to make that better. I'll give you a school example. If you're good at math, bad at English, focus more on math as opposed to focusing on English and forgetting math. You want to be the best damn mathematician. You want to be so good at something that the world recognizes you and doubles down on your goodness. So when you're trying to rebrand yourself, really look up some exercises online and understand which one you want to do to find out what your strengths are. There's many quizzes like me. I'm very good at taking big ideas and synthesizing them down to understandable things. I'm also good at understanding human emotion. I'm good at not judging a person's experience despite having not been through that. These seem like obsolete.
Okay, let's hop into our next segment of the day, which is our React segment. Let's try this again. And but this will only make. Hey, buddy. All right.
I don't know who needs to hear this.
I don't know either.
If you just got out of a relationship, why the fuck is you already?
Whoa.
Should you delete pictures?
Whoa. Okay, I hate when TikTok does this.
Men's primary focus is themselves, not a relationship.
I feel like one of those white boys, you know those white boys that have an extremely long piece of front hair and they always have to go like this to get the hair out of their face? What I do for you guys on Christmas Eve.
With you. That's why they're scared of commitment. That's why they're scared of their freedom being taken away. Men are very rational and strategic, especially when it comes to dating, and they know exactly what to tell you and what to do for you in order to get the right things from you. Things that primarily benefit them. Now, in order to become more unbothered, you have to mirror a man. You have to think like a man but act like a lady. When you date, you have to be very strategic and have a certain goal, a benefit that you can get out of him. You also shouldn't give away or reveal your emotional attachment right from the start. You should be hot and cold. You should be giving mixed signals. You should be confusing, and your actions should be somewhat unpredictable, because that is what lures him in. You pulled the reverse card and bet him with his own actions. Since a man's world always evolves around themselves and they're quite selfish, a woman that doesn't put her entire focus and energy on him and breaks the pattern makes herself more interesting to him. Now all of a sudden he wants you to care more. He wants you to be more predictable. He wants you to commit to him. Men's prime.
It's kind of ironic because a lot of times guys will tell you that they want, they love girls who are straightforward. Tell me in the chat if you've ever heard a guy tell you this. Oh, I love girls who are straightforward. I love girls who are really blunt and just super honest, that I don't have to guess about what they think or what they want. See, it's a trick and it's a trap, because you might think to yourself, oh, sounds like a deal. I can be super blunt and super honest and super straightforward. I don't like to play any game, because it sounds like really healthy, right? The really good, smart guys, they'll position it and frame it, because I tell you guys, framing is so important. They'll frame it in a way where, oh, I like to have healthy, evolved relationships where we don't play any games with each other. Aren't you tired of games? I'm tired of games. We're both tired of games. We're both too mature and grown for games, right? Right. So let's do this thing where we tell each other exactly how we feel, exactly what we want, lay everything on the table. There's no secrets and no games. And you're thinking in your mind, oh, this sounds like a super mature, super evolved type of man. I don't have to play any games, and he expects me to just be honest with him, and I'm going to get complete honesty from him as well. So you're thinking that's exactly what a good relationship is. So then when you do that, you're super honest about your emotions and your feelings, how much you want him. You're super communicative about how much you want to talk to him, and you're sad about how he didn't message you or didn't call you this time. And you're on his case, and you're telling him everything that you've ever felt and ever thought, and you're leaving nothing to mystery at all. He then comes back around and tells you, yeah, actually, I'm not so interested in you. Or if he doesn't actually say that, he just shows you very little interest. Because despite the guys asking for that and telling you how amazing that would be if you were upfront and there was no games or anything like that, when you don't play the games, you don't even get the response that you want. All you get is a very disinterested man. So it's unfortunate.
Okay, I'm going to say something kind of insane, and I hope this only reaches the women on TikTok. Genuinely. Have you ever
Oh, clearly it's reached me, but it's reached all of you through me. Okay.
been in a situation where you feel like there's something wrong with you in regards to like for me, for the longest time.
Wait, so she's talking about pineapple. She's talking about sex.
I thought there was something wrong with me because I never wanted to have it. I thought it was an inconvenience. I genuinely was always like, oh my God, I just took a shower. I just did my skincare. I'm gonna have to go take another shower. Now I'm gonna go to bed later than I was planning. That was how I thought about it. It was just always such a situation. And I don't know if it was because I just wasn't.
Wait, chat, before she goes on, have any of you ever felt like that before? This is kind of an inconvenience for me?
Getting everything out of it that I needed to be getting out of it. I don't know what it was, but I just didn't have fun. It wasn't fun for me. So over the years, I kind of just accepted the fact that, hey, I'm just a girly who doesn't really care for it. I'm somebody who can go long amounts of time without it.
Do any of you feel like that?
That's not true at all. I have come to realize that when you're with the right person, that changes. Because now there's something wrong with me, but in a different way. Oh, I can't go very long without it. Now I'm Ani, are you okay? You need to can we be capable of hanging out with our boyfriend without our head being in the gutter? Can we just be a normal person? Just genuine, that's so insane for me to say because I genuinely didn't ever want to have it, ever. So this is pretty insane, and I just has this happened to anybody else? What the fuck? Okay, I'm gonna say something kind of.
I won't say I know anything about that, but I have a question for you. Have any of you actually been in that situation?
Okay. Need to
We'll have a little bit of, it's Christmas Eve. We can have a little bit of honesty here. from my own experience, it's never the fact that you, for my own experience, it's never the fact that you don't want to have it. It's usually just the person, usually, whether you're a guy or a girl. The reason I say that is because if you do enough exploring and connecting, you will figure out that there's a lot more depth to sex and pineapples than just the act of actually jackrabbiting yourself inside of another human being or getting jackrabbited inside of. And when you discover that, pineapples and the intimacy opens up into a world that you never thought possible before. There's so many different layers. And I try my best, while keeping it PG, to discuss some of those things with you guys. Like when we're talking about, we had a show about how to turn men on without touching them. You can go watch that if you haven't watched it. And I try to discuss some of those topics and things with you guys to help you understand without being too graphic. Because when it comes to, now obviously we don't want to be sleeping with guys on the first night who we don't know, but obviously that's a major part of relationships and maintaining and building them. So when it comes to intimacy and sleeping with people, you have to understand there's so much more. We talk about energy. Energy is part of the intimacy and the sex. We talk about a transfer of energy and aura. That's part of it too. All of this stuff, I wish we could get into it without being too graphic on the show. But all this stuff can drastically change your experience for you and the man. And you'd be, I tell you, you'd be surprised some of the stuff your body can do. You didn't even know. You didn't even know. But it takes the right situation, and I'll be honest with you. It also takes the right man. It's not an every man type of thing. I'll just be super real with you. But you'll start to notice in the way that a guy talks, whether he's one of those guys or not, okay? Even in the way a guy will dirty talk, this is a little bit of a pro tip. There are guys who can take you there, okay? I'm talking about to a really special, magical place. They'll talk a particular way versus the guys, their version of dirty talk who can't take you there. They're going to talk a particular type of way, and you'll know they ain't got nothing. They ain't got nothing to offer you for real, okay? I'm trying not to get too deep into it here, but you get my gist, all right? I think this one we'll probably skip past this one.
Here's why you should never ever chase a man or desire him or send signals that you are actually wanting to pursue him. Here's why. I was speaking to a psychologist recently about this, and I found this mind-blowing, and I was like, you know what, let me just share this, because what the hell? Men pursue women as some sort of defense strategy. It's like a protective thing. What I mean by that is when a man feels like you are chasing him and you desire him and you want him and you're coming after him, he feels a great sense of anxiety. He literally feels so anxious. He starts to question things. His mind starts to go into overdrive, and he's analyzing you. He's questioning, why does she desire me? What does she want from me? How comes she's coming after me? It's abnormal to them. It's weird. That's why a lot of men say when women come after them, they get the ick, right? So if you're actively pursuing a man and you're going after him, this is why I don't like this whole, oh, it's the 21st century. We can propose to men if we want. We can take control. We can shoot our shot.
Chat. I don't know where this plague started that women are proposing to men. Please, I love you. I care about you. Okay. I want to see you succeed. In no way, shape, or form, or for any reason should you ever be. If you even have a dream of proposing to a man, you need to wake up and slap yourself in the face. Please. Never be in that position, okay? Never in a million years consider yourself proposing to a man. Please, I beg of you.
No, no, you never ever lower yourself. Never ever lower yourself as a woman and go after the man and pursue the man, because it's actually seen as a potential threat to them. Their brain tells them that something is off key here. Something is abnormal here. Something feels very strange here. They literally get anxiety when a woman desires them. They question it. Okay? They question it. They see it as like a really strange thing. The reason why it causes anxiety in them is because they always need to be in control. They need to be in control of their identity. Men always want to be in control of their identity. That's why they pursue you. That's why they call you. That's why they plan the date with you. It's all on their terms. They need to control that. They want to be in control of their identity and how that whole process goes. Otherwise, it's a threat, because now it feels unfamiliar. Now this is weird. This is strange. This is abnormal to me. I don't know what this feeling is. Okay? You do not.
I like this because it's I like to remind you guys that you can want you're allowed to want and desire guys. Like, you're allowed to see a guy, think he's attractive, and want to get to know him. The only thing about that is your way of going about getting the guy is going to be drastically different than the way a guy would go about getting you. And once you understand that and understand how your strategy and approach will change, then you are able to see more success. Excuse me, because for men, the moment that you start doing a lot of the masculine approaching and going up to him and being very overtly assertive towards the situation and in trying to get to know him, he'll immediately pull back and be either weirded out, or he'll just be less attracted to you, even if you're an attractive woman. And the best way to get the guys that you want, okay, to get your man, is by positioning yourself in a way that allows him to feel like he discovered you and found you and approached you. Then he'll really be turned on. Okay, then everyone will be happy. You'll be like the girl in our last clip where she's talking about how her world changed when she realized that pineapples is a magical world.
It's crazy to me how many of you have one bad night of drinking and automatically go, I'm never drinking again. With that attitude, you will never be able to do anything. The first time that you rode a bike, you fell off, probably scraped your knee or something. Did you go, I'm never riding a bike again? No. Because that's a quitter's mentality. Look, you cannot let one bad experience ruin something for you for the rest of your life. Because you know what? You're just being dramatic. If you had a little bit too much to drink one night and maybe you threw up or something, then drink a little bit less next time. This is not rocket science, people. You guys are quitters. I don't want to see any more of that quitter mentality. I'm never drinking again. I drank so much last night. Grow up. We are all adults here. And as adults, we should all know that you try something until you get it right. Practice makes perfect. So enough complaining, grab yourself a drink, and let's get ready to enjoy some Saturday day drinking, shall we? It's crazy to me.
You know, on a little bit of a more serious note, okay? I get this is, hyperbole. He's joking a little bit, telling a little jokey joke. On a little bit of a more serious note, though, one of the best days of my life was making a decision to stop drinking. And now I'm not going to give you guys a whole spiel or anything. I'm not your dad, okay? But I will say that, try not to go too deep here. People feel the most comfortable around you when you are participating in the same degenerate activities as them. You will begin to make people feel the most uncomfortable around you when you are not willing to stoop down to their level and participate in activities that everyone is low vibrational, right? That allows everyone to be low vibrational, I should say. Now, this topic is a little bit more for my spiritual channel that I'm going to create very soon, okay? But what you'll notice is when people are operating at a lower frequency, lower vibration, right? As we can say, they will want you to be operating at that same frequency. If you choose not to, you will either be cast out or you will be shamed for not choosing to operate at that frequency. And as weird as it sounds, you'll have the most amount of friends when you operate at your lowest frequency. Vice versa, when you're operating at your highest frequency, you'll have the smallest amount of friends, but you'll also have the strongest and most beneficial relationships. It's very counterintuitive and a very weird dynamic, but it does happen. And the reason I'm saying that is because that was one of the things that I realized when I stopped drinking, is how much more clarity I had in my life. And I also saw a drastic difference in the way that people treated me and the way that they spoke to me. I seemed to be the most friendly person and have people approach me and seem to like me the most when I was participating in activities that also made me like a degenerate. But the moment I stopped wanting to be a degenerate and wanting to participate in degenerate activities, I became off-putting to some people. I became like a buzzkill to some people. I became not the life of the party anymore. Quite ironic. And I had to sacrifice my desire to be liked by everyone to understand that what's most beneficial for my life is to not be drunk every weekend that I go out. So I learned, and I'm not saying this to say I'm better than you, I'm just saying this to help you understand how my journey could maybe be applied to something you're going through. I learned that the best version of me in my life is to go out, enjoy myself, have fun, build connections, bond with people, laugh, enjoy life, but also stay sober. And learning how to do both of those things at once actually gave me the most fulfilling version of my own personal life. So that may or may not resonate with you. If it doesn't, fine. But if it speaks to you or you feel like it resonates with you, there's a reason for that, okay? Because it's probably been on your heart and on your soul and on your spirit for a while. You just maybe haven't realized it yet, because it definitely was for me, okay?
But guys love the crazy, selfish women. Do they? For what, though? What do they love them for? There's two categories guys will put you in, ladies. I'm just being honest with you, straightforward. There's wife, a.k.a. commitment, long-term, and there's everything else. Hook up, deal with, take out, sleep with, play around with, go skiing with, haka haka, shakalaka, hanky panky, swifty nifty. All the good stuff over here, yes. But a lot of guys see those crazy selfish girls as a nice, healthy challenge to dominate them and never commit to them. So, when it comes down to keeping score and they say, oh, they can all get guys, can they get guys to commit to them long-term? Are they getting guys to drop to one knee out here? What are they doing? Or are they just getting them for hanky-panky and getting their attention and getting them to take them out on dates? Oh, yeah, all that's all good, but that's not what I'm talking about. See, when a guy, commitment, who's getting the commitment game? Not the, if that's what you're into, if that's what you're looking for, who's getting the commitment? Not the attention, not the shanky-pankies, not the pancakies. No, not that. Anybody can get that. And if you're hotter and crazier, yeah, you can get that a little bit more because...
Is it a white... Did one of my bells fall? What the hell? Tell me, chat, is it a white guy thing to call... Are they talking about the booty? Are they saying the pancakes? Is that a white guy thing? Because I've only heard white guys say to get the pancakes. I don't know. That term shocks me. Are they purposely looking for girls with pancake booties? To each his own.
Because he's looking forward to dominating you, but I'm talking about long-term commitment. Who's getting that? Symbolically, who's getting that? Whether you believe in marriage or not, I don't really care. So you got to ask yourself a question. Can they get the guys? Or do they just get the guys' attention? And very few are actually going to commit down. What about the good quality dudes? Are they committing down?
So what this, I think, is speaking to is the fact that there are two different types of attention. There's low quality and high quality. Low quality attention is attention you can give to any Instagram model who's half naked on any website or social media site. High quality attention is attention you can also give to women, but for the purpose of I'm trying to actually build a relationship with you, and I actually want to be with you and get to know you for real. So regardless of whether you're offering me to be able to sleep with you or not, I still want to get to know you. Now, those type of attentions happen, right? On all the time. But you have to be aware of what type of attention you're receiving from that specific man. Because some guys might give you the low quality attention. And if you're confused or you're not sure what that really means, you might actually think it's the real high quality attention. And not all the time that's the case. And sometimes you might, even from the same guy, he might give one girl high quality attention and another girl low quality attention. Okay. So you have to really be on an ongoing basis, be gauging what men think and what they want and how they're approaching you, and analyzing information to understand which version of attention that is. Okay. I want to be actually, because you guys are donating a lot, so I want to give a chance to answer them as we're going on. Nicole or T just donated $10 in the, we have a lot of donations. Sorry, I got to read these out because I got to make sure we get through all of them. Tracy Niles donated $20 in our YouTube chat a little bit earlier. Thank you so much. I think I mentioned that earlier, or is that another? There's a lot of donations. T donated €10. She said, thank you for dressing up. For the event, do enjoy. Happy holidays. Thank you, T, for the €10 donation, €10 donation. Nicole just donated $10. I gotta read. These are a lot of donations. Thank you so much, chat. I love hearing about your journey, your testimony about how you wanted to live better and have better for yourself. It's very inspiring to many people. Looking forward to your spiritual channel. Yeah, the spiritual channel coming soon, chat. We're gonna talk a lot on that channel about manifestation, a little bit about kind of topics that we discussed today. That's gonna be a very good channel. What is this? Having a friend that tells exactly how males be moving. Okay, vibes. How it feels having a male friend that tells you that's what this everything says. Okay, is this some anime? Do you guys know what anime this is? Sorry, chat. I don't watch anime. I don't play video games. I don't know what any of this stuff is. You guys got to educate me. What is this anime here that we're seeing here on the screen? I don't know what the anime that is.
When a man fumbles a good woman, he will carry that shit in his chest till the day he dies. And I got a masterclass in this when I was just
Bleach. Okay, thank you.
9 years old, and I witnessed my stepbrother fumble the woman of his dreams, the one that got away. And I think he was about 20 at the time, but this woman, my God, she was the kind of woman that fit the description of any R&B song from the early 2000s. She was all that. I will never
So she was light-skinned and looked like Aaliyah.
forget at the Christmas gathering how many people pulled him aside and was like, you better marry that one. She's incredible. And what did he do? He shit the bed. I think he even cheated on her. And the thing is that I ended up catching up with him probably 5 or 6 years ago because my dad ended up divorcing his mother. And I asked him about it. I was like, what happened there? And I will never forget what he said to me. When you're young, you think that every woman is going to be like that. And he said, that is one regret that I will have for the rest of my life. I wish I could just take her to dinner and apologize for what an asshole I was. And the thing is that now he's married and he has kids, and I already know that he has put his wife through so much more than the one that got away. And so I want you to really get through your head that the reward for putting up with nonsense is more nonsense. After that breakup with that woman, his life went downhill. But that woman, the one that got away, she got her degree. She bought a house in her mid-20s. Last time I checked, she's traveling the world. So it's far better to be the one that got away than the one who stayed and who he chained for. When a man fumbles a good woman.
I agree. And that's why your energy has to be always on investing more into yourself. And if you notice that a guy is not taking you serious or taking you for granted, you don't feel sorry for yourself. You don't start moping and being sad. You just take that energy away from him and you start putting it back into yourself. Because all the time that you spend investing in yourself, you just continue to make yourself more and more and more attractive to men and to your eventual partner. You got to start rethinking of your life as a series of events leading up to you meeting the love of your life. And every moment and time and decision that you make that allows you to spend more time and energy with the love of your life is a good decision. So anytime you're in a relationship that doesn't serve you, that's a waste of time, because that's time taken away from being able to spend it with the love of your life, as weird as that sounds. So if a guy's mistreating you, then he's not the love of your life. So we got to quickly get out of that situation so we can have more time for the love of your life. Does that make sense?
Men do not care about.
Oh, we already did her today.
The good news is that men hate us. So there's no point in catering to them. They're gonna hate us anyway. Do you know what I mean? Like, there's no point in
I wouldn't go that far, but go on.
like, does he think I'm rude? Does this guy think I'm rude? He already hates you. Who cares? Who cares if he thinks I'm rude? Oh, am I being loud? Am I being loud? I don't want to be loud. They hate you. Be loud. Are they gonna hate you more? Okay. What? They already hate you. One man here or there may not, but men, as a rule, they hate you. So let go. Stop catering to them. You will not win. And I think we knew this, but I don't want to say I'm feeling this. They hate us. So let go. Let go, be free, and chop off your own hair and scream in the street and eat the cereal in the aisle in the grocery store before you buy it and then buy it. Maybe, no, I'm not gonna say that. Buy it. Buy the cereal. Be who you would be if you weren't trying to get men to like you, because they won't.
Okay. The theme of her message is not wrong. I just feel like the way she went about it was not what I want you to take from that. Okay? What I mean by that is men don't hate you. Okay? I don't even want you to adopt that mindset, because what that's going to do is it's going to make it very difficult for you to build relationships with men and build connections with them. Because when you have, like we just talked about here, self-talk or some sort of limiting belief that all men I meet hate me, it's going to be very difficult to ever connect with a man and build a relationship with them. So that's not even at all close to the self-talk I want you to operate with in your life. What I want you to understand, because I'm never going to lie to you and say, oh, well, all men, they want to put their jacket down and have you walk on it and treat you like a princess. No, that's not true. Men want what is best for themselves. In every situation, they're figuring out how they can be self-serving. So if they meet a woman that is willing to do anything for them, give them girlfriend treatment, open her legs, let them jackrabbit themselves inside of her, do whatever that guy wants, and in return, that woman asks for nothing, right? No attention, no consistency, no dates, no nothing. Guys will say, perfect. This is a great opportunity for me to take advantage of a situation that will serve me without having to make me put a lot of effort into it. Okay? They're opportunists. They don't hate you, and I won't even say that they necessarily love you. Some guys will, some guys won't, right? But what's more important than that for you to understand is that the men are opportunists. They're looking for an opportunity. Some women they will come across will be a great opportunity, meaning a great place for them to take a lot and give very little to nothing. Some women that they come across will not be a good opportunity because they're not willing to give themselves away to men for nothing or for free or with a simple couple of words and a small bag of tricks. So what I mean by that is your self-talk shouldn't be that, oh, all men that I meet hate me, because all men that you meet don't hate you. There are definitely men who will love you and adore you. Your self-talk should be an understanding that men are opportunists. So I have to make sure that when I go out and I date, I protect myself by gathering information. I protect myself by not allowing, myself to become mesmerized by people who will love bomb me. I protect myself by not speeding myself up. I protect myself by pacing the men that I'm dating and not going on one date that lasts for 85 hours, okay? And going on multiple dates that are a maximum of 2 hours over the course of time to gauge his consistency, right? All of these things you do to let men know I'm not an opportunity, okay? And if you're coming here to think that you're going to be able to extract and not give anything in return, you probably should go somewhere else and look for someone else. Perfectly fine with me. It doesn't bother me either way. I think that's a much better way to go about your relationships, where you'll see more success and you'll be more detached from the outcome, especially when you're dating men, but you'll still be able to be in an open position, like an open you have an open spirit and an open heart, that when you date someone who is investing in you, you won't have this limiting belief that, oh my God, all of these men hate me. So you're definitely not investing in me. You just actually hate me. You're definitely not showing me love. You just actually hate me. You're definitely not doing anything for you. Just like that's a horrible limiting belief that will manifest itself in your relationships by not allowing you to connect with anyone. So it doesn't do you any good. Okay. I know we talk about men a lot and we talk about what they think and we talk about how to avoid all the bad men, but I never want you to have it can't be on the extreme where you believe that all men are bad. I want you to be skeptical of all men, but not all men are bad. You will eventually meet a good one that you can have that life with and share that life with. And then once you get that, you'll be happy. And I want you to be happy. It's not just about all of us saying, oh, we hate men and all the men are trash. There's a lot of trash men. We're going to sift through them to find you a good one. Okay. All right. Let's hop into our next segment of the this thing in my face is so annoying. Let's hop into our next segment of the day, which is our very, very, very amazing segment. It's the best time of the day. And of course, we're in the holidays, so it's going to be extra special today. Please spam up in the chat if you know what time it is. It's a very, very, very special time, okay? Don't look at your watch. Don't look at your clock. Don't look at your phone. Don't look nowhere else in your entire home. It's hitting me in the eyes and stuff. Okay. If you don't know the time, I'm going to tell you the time. Christmas Eve edition. All right, chat. Oh my gosh, my do-rag. Oh my gosh, my head came off. Oh my gosh. All right. All right, chat. Let's hop into our Discord section of the show. For those of you who are wondering how this works, look at this. This is so ghetto. All right, chat. Let's hop into our Discord section of the show. For those of you who have no idea how this works, our Discord section is essentially where all the amazing members of our Players Club Discord community get an opportunity to ask me a question about their relationship or situationship, and I answer it live on the show. Now, you have a few different ways to send in your question, and I'm going to explain them to you right now. The first way is by going into our free relationship advice forum here, which is available by going into the link in my bio on TikTok or the link in my description on YouTube. You can drop your question in here, and you'll just have to format it the same way that everyone else has formatted their own questions, okay? Now, excuse me, as you can see here, all of these questions that are highlighted haven't been answered by me. So I have to get to these questions before I can get to yours. So to keep it fair, right, I won't be able to get to your question today if you ask it today, because it's a first come, first served basis. But if you want to skip the line of people because you are just impatient and you can't wait, you can also put your question in our premium relationship advice forum, which is available in our Discord. Same link in my bio, same link in my description. But instead, you're going to click premium Discord relationship advice. When you click that, you donate to the show. Then you put the title of your username, your Discord username, and the title of your question. I see that on my phone. I get a notification when you send in your donation, and I see that that question is yours. I verify you're supposed to be in there, and then I read your question first before I go into the free section. So it's like a skip the line pass, so to speak, right? where you can skip the line of people. Now, the third way you can send in your question is for those of you who want to get my advice on your situation, but you don't want your information to be read out on the show. You can send me a private relationship question, which is in our Discord here. It's also available in the link in my bio on TikTok or the link in my description on YouTube. You can send me in a private question. Type it out as long as you want, and I respond with a voice message, usually 8 to 10 minutes, sometimes even 15, to be honest. And I respond very detailed and thoroughly about your situation and my advice or perspective on it. And I send it back to you via your email, and no one else sees it or hears any of the information in your question, okay? Let's hop into our first question of the day, which comes from, let's see here, Cease. Okay. Cease. Let's see. All right. I'm new to this. Help. Hi. I'm 24. I've been seeing this guy. I will call him H. He's 32. My question is, am I on the right track or am I digging myself in a hole with a nice guy? I only just recently discovered your channel and I'm trying to learn, but I feel like I may have messed up before I discovered you. I met H at a bar while I was out with my friends at the beginning of October. He asked for my number and I gave it to him. Although without seeing your content, I first pretended to be a bit reluctant to play hard to get. So that's exactly what I say. So it's ironic that you actually did that just without even knowing. Well, we ended up texting a couple of times throughout the week for the next couple of weeks. At around the third week, I suggested it would be fun to go out together. He picked a day, time, and place. We went bowling for our first meeting and had a couple of drinks. It was really fun, and at the end, we both went our separate ways after. No kissing and no pineapples. So good so far. Our next adventure was to play darts, and since we have gone out, and since then, we have gone out once a week for a couple of hours. So we have gone out a total of 6 times. However, each time we go out, I have essentially initiated. I say that it would be fun to go out again, but he picks the time and place. Okay. I barely find him initiating except for the last time we went out. We actually haven't even kissed or anything yet. Which is fine in a sense, but your girl wants some sugar, LOL. I feel like I'm falling for the nice guy trap, in which if I don't initiate a kiss or any step to move the relationship forward, that he won't. Oh, you're a smart cookie. You've been watching the show. What do I do to get him to make moves? I have tried playful touches on his arms and legs, flirty looks, and closing the distance between us. None of that has worked, and I'm also trying to give a bit of grace because I feel he doesn't want to come off creepy due to the age gap. That's not okay. That's not really a very strange age gap there. It's not that crazy. I'm so confused, and I'm trying to stay in my feminine and have him chase me. What are some things I can do next time to get him to initiate? I feel like he has one more chance before I sadly walk away. Because even though I really like his personality and he treats me well and pays for me, I'm looking for a guy who initiates. There's nothing wrong with that. Okay? Thanks for any help you can give, Tomisin, and also to all the ladies in the chat who also provide their wisdom. Okay. Cece. Very important here for you. See, you've identified one of the major problems with nice guys that I've discussed before, in that they will be so nice, so kind, so considerate that they don't do any initiating and you have to do all of it. And the problem with that is now you get to a point where you actually need him to do initiating in order to progress the relationship forward. And it's not your job to be the progressor of the relationship. So now what I actually need you to do, because you're asking me what are the actionable items for me in the next steps, what you need to do is you need to give him no option except these two. Either he's going to start doing the initiating, and I mean all the way from the dates, okay? Because you mentioned earlier here that you guys have gone on 6 dates, but each time you guys go out together, you've been the one who's initiated. So now what we're going to do is we're going to squeeze the life of any possible way he can see you or get in contact with you unless he chooses to initiate with you. So what do I mean by that? No longer are you going to be bringing up, oh, we should go on a date soon, or we should go here. You're not going to recommend anything. You're not going to bring up dating anymore. You're not going to bring up going out or hanging out. You're not going to bring any of that up. You're going to squeeze the life out of that, because what you want to happen is he only has 2 roads of possibility. Either he can choose to do some initiating and some progressing by asking you out, planning the date, taking you out, and doing all of those things necessary in order to see you. Or his second option will be, don't say anything, don't reach out, don't talk about going out on a date, don't progress it forward, and then he will never see you, never speak to you, and never talk to you ever again. Those are his only 2 options that you have to give him. Then from there, you have to resign yourself to the fact that he will make his choice on what he wants to do based on his level of desire and interest in you. So if he really wants you and he actually likes spending time with you, eventually he'll come to the realization, I can't allow her to slip through my fingers and not be with her and not have her in my life. So whether or not she's going to reach out to me, I've got to make sure I do the job of reaching out to her so that we can continue to progress this relationship forward. You're giving him basically a dead end that he has to make a decision. And if he chooses not to make that decision, or he says, I'm too scared, too shy, too much of a nice guy to reach out to her, I want her to reach out to me for us to plan this date, then you go ahead and accept that that type of guy is not even the type of guy you are looking for in the first place, which is good because you're already at that place anyways, where you're saying you like a guy who will initiate, and that's what you're looking for, which is good. So if you're basically going to get a win either way. You're either going to win by squeezing the life out of any possible way he can see or spend time with you without him initiating, right? So that's a win. And so if he chooses that he wants to see you, you win because he then sees you and progresses the relationship forward. If he chooses that he isn't prepared or he's too much of a nice guy to actually progress this forward, you also win because now you've stopped wasting time with a guy who doesn't have what you need in a man. Okay? Does that make sense? I hope it does. Right? So that process for you becomes very simple. You pull it all the way back and you let him make his decision. You only contact him when he contacts you. You don't bring anything up about going out on a date until he brings it up. And even when he brings it up, all you should be saying is okay, because he should be asking you, are you free this day? I'm free at this time. We can go here. We can do this. And all your response should have to be is okay. Really and truthfully. All right, let's go on to our next question here. Our next question comes from, we got lots there. Our next question comes from Hayat, okay? Where to meet a good man? My question is, where can a mother of young kids meet a provider man? Specifically, I'm looking for someone who I can build a life with. There's nothing wrong with that, right? Meeting in a bar or club is not an option for me as I do not go out, nor would I advise that to be the place where you're meeting men. I often find myself rejecting men because they either seek a motherly figure who can support them, like a sugar mama, or are only interested in having fun after parties. Thank you. Okay, so one of my questions would be, what's your age, right? Because age range is kind of going to depend what are the best for you. Obviously, you never really want to be meeting men at a club or a bar because that's where you're going to meet a lot of the low quality men, or at least the men that aren't looking for relationships, right? Now, I understand you're saying, you're a mother, right? And you want to meet a very specific type of man. But my answer always is, because we don't yet have a specific... we don't yet have a specific, I guess we could say, tool dedicated to organizing singles meeting up, okay? But since we don't have that, it's going to be very difficult for me to just say, go to this place and you're guaranteed to meet single men. Are you following me? I could theoretically say, go to Home Depot, but you're not guaranteed to meet single provider men. All right. Some of them might be married. Some of them might be not what you're looking for. Okay. It's not a dating app. But what I think is the most important, like I always tell you, is to first figure out what do you enjoy doing with your own time. The reason for that is because once you go and do the thing that you enjoy doing on your own time, it won't be so much on the front of your mind, did I meet someone who I can date while I did this thing? And because it's not on the front of your mind like that, that's actually when you'll have that's when you'll be in the state where when you do meet someone, you won't be so heavily focused on making it work and trying to date them that you can actually have a conversation and grow with them in your understanding and see if you have a real connection there. What'll also happen is it'll take a lot of pressure off of you from feeling like I'm here for the specific reason of dating men. Because by the time you go somewhere, right, for the specific reason of I'm trying to meet single men and I want them to approach me, you want to know what happens if those single men don't approach you? You start to feel like you're worthless or you're useless. Because when you, for example, if I tell you, go to a cocktail bar at a golf course, and you say, okay, Tomisin, you told me to go to a cocktail bar at a golf course and wear a red dress and a red blazer, okay, or a red skirt and a red blazer. I'm going to do that. You put on the red dress, your red lipstick, and your red everything, okay? Red, red, red. And you go to the cocktail bar and you sit down and you think to yourself, okay, I'm ready to meet a whole bunch of provider men, like you mentioned. Then when you sit down there and you spend 2 or 3 hours there and no provider men come up to you or ask for your number, you're going to feel very, very deflated. Because you put on that dress and you went to that cocktail bar to meet some provider men. So when no provider men come up to you or have a conversation with you, you're going to feel like that whole process was a complete waste of your time. It's really going to deflate you to the point where you're going to start feeling like, oh, maybe it's just not in the cards for you to find love. Or maybe guys just don't like you. Or maybe your dump truck's not big enough, right? And you're going to start coming up with reasons why guys don't want you or desire you or don't want to talk to you. Those limiting beliefs will become your self-talk, and then you'll find it even more difficult to meet men with that limiting belief. So the reason I say that is I don't even want to get you down on that path of having limiting beliefs because you're going somewhere specifically to meet men. Rather, I want you to go to places that you enjoy spending your time, regardless of whether you meet men there or not. That way, when you're interacting with people, especially when you go to places that have some sort of community, a karate class, jujitsu, Zumba. I know someone said, oh, guys don't go to Zumba. There's guys everywhere, okay? Zumba, you go to a dance class. There's actually a lot of guys at dance classes. You go to some sort of club, a book club, or whatever club, okay? And you start just doing the thing that you already want to spend your time doing. By the time you go there, if you go there and you meet a man and you go there, or you go there and you don't, it doesn't matter because you enjoyed your time there, okay? And once you enjoy your time there, that's what's most important, number one, that'll keep your self-talk and your confidence in the place that we need it, that if just by chance you happen to meet a great man there or a great man on your way back from there or in the parking lot there, your spirit will be in the right place that when you meet that guy and you start having conversation with him, you'll be like, ooh, I feel a vibe here. And you'll have the right energy to be very attractive and seductive to those men that you do end up meeting just by putting yourself out there. And putting yourself out there doesn't necessarily just mean going on a dating app. Putting yourself out there just means going out and doing things outside of your house. Okay? Right? And when you do that, you never know what the possibilities are. The possibilities are literally limitless, so to speak, right? As we say, because once you step outside of your house, anything can happen. And now you're in an even better position because you're still going to get enjoyment out of the situation one way or another because you're interested in what it is that you're going to do. So much better for your psyche and your mental health than just going there and sitting there to meet men in a red blazer because someone told you to, right? Let's go on to our next point. Okay, this is a video of me or a picture of me. Okay, interesting. Let's scroll up here. What is going on here? There's so many replies. Why is this like this? Okay. Why is this so long? Okay. Just friends dynamic. Tommy, hi. I dated a guy who liked to only hang out with female friends one-on-one. I was jealous of his friendships and jealous of the fact that he was best friends with his ex-girlfriend. I think we did this, didn't we? Yeah, we did this. Yeah, we did the just friends dynamic thing. We did that yesterday, I think, right? Let's go on to our next one. Let's see here. Oh, med school advice. We did hers, right? Yeah, we did hers. Oh, and why did that do that? That's so weird. It doesn't go off. Let me click mark as read. Okay. Willow says, asking what I want to plan on the first date. Okay. Hi, hello. I'm 22, and I've been talking to this guy who's 23 for about 2 days now. Okay. He's wanting to meet up, and usually I don't like meeting up too fast because I get nervous and I'm also very cautious. Nothing wrong with that. Your safety is important. Usually, I'd say not right now, maybe in 1 more week, but then the conversations get boring and they ghost me. I'm willing to stop that cycle and meet up. However, he hits me with I'm not good at planning. So what do you like to do for fun? Is this like him asking so he can get ideas or suggesting I should plan it? My advice to you, truthfully and honestly, is tell him that I'm curious what you had in mind. You can surprise me. I'm an open person, okay? And open to new experiences. So the reason I say that is not because I want you to be more difficult. It's because in my own understanding of men, this is a bad precedent to start off with. When he tells you I'm not very good at planning, it's almost like a cop-out that, hey, I have some sort of character flaw that doesn't allow me to be a man. So please, can you excuse my inability to be a man? And in the process of you excusing that, can you do my job for me? Right? It's a very weird type of cop-out. And if you agree and you go ahead and you do the planning for him or you do the suggesting for him, you're going to start slowly but surely taking on his responsibility because of his inability to plan. Okay? So what actually you should be considering when you hear a guy saying, oh, I'm not good at planning, just have in your mind, oh, you're basically telling me I'm not good at being a man in a relationship that can lead. And then when you hear that, I want you to translate that to, oh, you're literally telling me you're not the type of guy, I'm not the type of guy you're looking for, right? You're explaining to me exactly how and why I shouldn't even bother going out on a date with you because you're not at all have the character traits or personality traits that I would want in a husband. That's what you want to translate that to. Because a guy telling you I'm not good at planning, so what are you supposed to do with that? Are you supposed to be doing all the planning now? So what's your relationship going to be? Is it going to consist of you having to control everything, plan his schedule and your schedule and feed him and chew his food for him, right? And do everything because he can't be a man and do any sort of planning or scheduling for himself or you? No, you can't do that. And you can't accept that. So what you're going to do instead is you're going to say, oh, perfect. I'm so glad you let me know. I appreciate that. Thank you for telling me that you're not good at planning. So sorry to hear that. And then you go swipe and you delete his number, you delete his contact, or you unmatch him on Hinge or Tinder or Bumble, wherever you met him. And then you just move on with your life. Okay. A guy tells you he's not good at planning. Great. He's not good at being a boyfriend either. You don't even need to spend any time talking to him. Very simple. It's very simple. Okay. Let's go on to our next question. Our next one comes from 1111. Okay. Manipulation tactic. All right. 1111 says, hi, Tommy. Why did you say that when a guy said they are too good for you, it's a manipulation tactic? What if it's true that they genuinely think that they feel we are too good for the guy? Can you please explain? What are some common manipulation tactics to be on the lookout for? Thank you. Okay. The reason that I say this, very simply, that it's a manipulation tactic is because think about this logic. Okay. Let's have a little bit of a role play here, right? If I come to you and I tell you, let's just say for the sake of example, I drove your car and I accidentally crashed it, right? So I drove your car, I borrowed it, and I crashed your car. I come to you, I come back to the house, and before we even say anything, you can see the look on my face. And I tell you, I'm a horrible person. I'm such an idiot. I'm so stupid. I apologize. I'm the worst friend ever. I don't know why I do this. I know that you're going to hate me, and I know I'm so stupid, and I start crying, and I'm like, I don't even deserve to have you as a friend, and you're so generous, and you do so much for me, and I take advantage of you, and I'm so inconsiderate to your feelings and your life, and I know I've never done anything good for you, and I'm such a failure, and I want you to know that I crashed your car. I'm so stupid. I'm so dumb. I'm such an idiot. Now, after I spend the last, 15, 20 seconds telling you how stupid and dumb I am and how much of an idiot I am, and I tell you I crashed your car, it becomes very hard for you to say, you're stupid, dumb, you're an idiot, because I just said that. So piling on to the fact that I just acknowledged that I'm a stupid, dumb idiot feels very inconsiderate, feels very mean, okay? It doesn't feel morally like the right thing to do because I've already acknowledged how stupid, dumb, and inconsiderate I am, okay? And how much I've taken advantage of you. So for you to repeat that just feels like a waste of time and energy because we've already acknowledged that and agree on that. Vice versa. If I try to hide the fact that I crashed your car on you, or I try to pretend like it wasn't me that crashed your car, and you find out and you call it out and you say, oh my God, you crashed my car. And I say, no, I didn't. That was you. That scratch wasn't me. That was something that you did. It wasn't my fault. That was your fault. Now you're inclined to say, oh my God, you're so inconsiderate. You're so rude. You take advantage of me. Now all of a sudden you want to speak all the things that are on your mind towards me, especially when I deny that. And I tell you that's not me. Okay? Right? Because naturally, if I'm not admitting to you how horrible of a person I am, you feel the need to tell me how horrible of a person I am. So why do I give that example? It's the same thing in relationships where that can become a manipulation tactic because when they start off with, oh, you're too good for me. I don't deserve you. I was so horrible to you. That might sound like, oh, he's just being nice. He's just telling me how it is. He's just telling me how amazing I am. It can feel like an ego boost for you. But it actually becomes a manipulation tactic because what do you not do when he tells you how much he doesn't deserve you? You don't figure or think to yourself, hey, I am actually so much better than this, and I shouldn't even bother myself with a guy like this. Instead, you're more likely to feel empathy for that guy because of how he's telling you he doesn't even deserve to be with you, and you deserve so much better than him. So now, instead of you being filled with the feeling of, hey, I should actually move forward and not be with this guy because I deserve better, instead of actually thinking that, you're thinking to yourself, oh, this poor man. He's such a sad, poor little boy who doesn't have life figured out and needs a little bit of my help and has made some mistakes. You know, we all make mistakes. And rather than being filled with your confidence that this isn't for you anymore, you're now filled with empathy that you feel sorry for a guy who mistreated you. And just that fast, he has flipped the script on you to make you feel sorry for him for mistreating you. So that's how it becomes a manipulation tactic. And now when you feel bad, you're more likely to forgive him. You're more likely to be with him. You're more likely to allow him another chance because you feel like, oh, he's so sad. And you know, he makes mistakes, but we all make mistakes, don't we? Yeah, we do. But there's also consequences for those mistakes. Okay. Let's hop into our next question here. All right. Our next question comes. Oh, this is pretty kitty. I think we did this one. Oh, this is clarity on the 23-year-old virgin dating post. Hi, Tomisin. I saw your show today, and I appreciate your thorough and truthful response and for giving me the real answer. Okay, yeah, I said I'm going to give you the real one. I just wanted to clarify a few things. I wasn't saying I would have an issue meeting men from church. I was wondering if there were any other places you would suggest. I just moved to a big city, but the church I go to is relatively small and has lots of couples and few young singles. So that's why I advise for you, if you're looking for church to meet with people your age and congregate, if you live in a big city, you're in a perfect place. There are what we kind of can describe as young people churches. They're more modern churches that are larger in capacity, but have a little bit of a modern twist to it. The pastor will usually be on the younger side. He probably won't even wear a suit to church. Okay, it's still church, but he probably won't even wear a suit all the time. He'll dress a little bit more modern, right? It's almost like a version of a large youth church, if that makes any sense. But those are the churches where you'll meet the most people around your age that you can start, hanging out with and building friendships with. The reason I mentioned to you should only be in church is because what you're looking for was so specific, and you were mentioning that you don't even want to be holding hands until you're dating that guy. That is something you're operating on a level of strictness within your religion, which is fine, that you just really aren't going to find outside of someone who shares your same religion and your same belief in your faith. That's why I say for your specific situation, I would never advise you to even bother yourself meeting men in any other place but church. Because the idea that you're going to meet men that will be willing to date you and not hold your hand until you're actually boyfriend and girlfriend, you're not going to find that in a club. You're not going to find that at a frat party. You're not going to find that at a university or college party. I just have to be honest with you. You're solely going to find that at church. So you're better off just putting all your energy into meeting men at church than anywhere else. That's why I said that. So I can also try attending a bigger church. Yeah, exactly like I said. Also, I am not saying that I am dead set on not holding hands or kissing. I was just wondering your advice on how this would work if I'm trying to pace him. Nothing wrong with pacing, and nothing wrong with having that level of strictness as it relates to your religion. I don't want you to compromise your beliefs or your version of what you think is healthy at that period of time. What I'm just trying to help you with is understanding what is realistic in terms of where you'll find that and how you'll find that. That's all I'm saying. I don't mind holding hands since I do that praying with family. By the way, chat, what I'm referring to is in her previous message, she said that she wouldn't want to hold hands until they were boyfriend and girlfriend. That's why I'm saying that. And that's what she's referring to. I was just wondering if I should hold off on doing that for a little bit and if we're only dating and not official. For the kissing, I would prefer to move slower and wait a bit. It doesn't exactly need to be 3 months. I was just using that as an example. I am not rigid about anything, but I would like to be in a place where I know he takes me seriously before I start kissing him. That's perfectly fine. Especially my first kiss. That's perfectly fine. That's why I was wondering if I should tell him that so he understands where I'm coming from. I also don't want him to feel like we haven't progressed if I kiss him earlier on in the relationship. Do you have any suggestions on pacing in this kind of scenario? Also, if we do have conversations about past relationships, exes, as you suggested, I don't know what I would say because I don't want him to think I don't or didn't have options. I've had men try to kiss me or sleep with me, but I just refused. How/when would could I bring up the past without making it seem like I don't have other men interested in me? LOL. Also, you mentioned Christian dating apps. I'm not a fan of dating apps, and I know you aren't either, but do you suggest them in this situation? No, because in my own experience in helping a lot of women and in helping women who are also religious get on a Christian dating app or a Muslim dating app, I've just found that even the men on the Christian or the Muslim dating apps will still be very, we can just say, curious. And a lot of times they're not necessarily looking for the thing that the dating app is intended for you to be looking for or have the same level of staying power, so to speak. So I just don't advise it. Not really. I'm not a big fan of that, even for a Christian dating app. Now, when it comes to meeting guys, see, because you're in a special situation where you want to be meeting guys in the church, I do think that having the conversation after the first couple of dates, so let's just say 3 or 4 dates, of the fact that you don't really want to be rushing into kissing and all that stuff, would be appropriate, just because if you're dating, as we can call it, a man of God, that should not affect his ability or desire to be in a relationship with you. So the reason I say that is because your special situation and what you're trying to achieve here in your relationships, bringing that up and having that clarity should actually be in alignment with your shared religion, which obviously you should be bonding over with your man that you're dating, okay? As someone who's heavily religious yourself here. And if you're bonding over that religion, that's in line with everything that your religion consists of. So having a conversation about that is really having a conversation about your aligned views and an approach to your religion. And so having that clear understanding will actually make your relationship better and stronger for your specific situation. I'm not talking about everyone else's, because in general, I wouldn't advise telling men, I'm not going to kiss you or I'm not going to sleep with you. But for you dating Christian men that you're planning on meeting in the church, to have that clarity actually serves you, because that clarity is in line with the religion that you'll be sharing with that man. Does that make sense to you why I'm saying that? Now, does that have to be a conversation you have on the very first date? No, not necessarily. But as you have conversations about your religion, I want you to start getting a sense of how much is he actually following the rules of the religion? How serious does he take it? How close is he with God? How strong is he in his faith? Then as you get your feedback and your information on that, then you start sharing with him how you follow your faith and how strong you follow your religion, by telling him how you've saved yourself for marriage, and even the fact that other guys have tried, like you mentioned, and wanted to. You can even give him examples of that. You said that still, I want to make sure I stay strong in my faith because of how important that is to me. Are you following me? Right? So your framing is in that, hey, I'm not just, a virgin still because no one wants me. I'm a virgin because of how strong I am in my faith. And from our discussion, I'm assuming and hoping that you are too, which is exactly why I want to make sure that we're aligned in the way that we approach our relationship, right? You're not going to say it exactly like that, but that's what you need to be thinking in your mind in terms of how you're going to approach this situation, right? So that should be a conversation you have after a few dates. And it should be centered around your religion and why you chose to do that based on your religion. And if he is who you're looking for, there should be agreement there. There shouldn't be skepticism there or a fact that he wants to run or not talk to you because of that. I would hope not. Okay. All right. I hope that makes sense to you. Let's go on to our next question here. All right. This one comes from this one comes from a non-girl. Clarify when to have pineapples. I know you said to only have pineapples when you feel secure. What do you mean by that exactly? And what are the signs? How can I discern that from love bombing / just talk? Well, it'll be just talk versus being actions, right? Also, if a man asks when I think is the appropriate time to have pineapples with him, how do I say when I feel secure? You don't say that. I'll tell you what to say. In the past, I have told guys I only want pineapples with my boyfriend. Don't say that either. Is that this okay? Or does this give a weird ultimatum for the man to rush things and not become my boyfriend at a healthy pace where they are truly interested in a long-term commitment? See, you're smart. And you're understanding why sometimes letting your cards all out doesn't actually serve you. So telling a guy I'm only waiting to have sex with my boyfriend sets a very hard line that men will be thinking, hey, let me speed up making you my girlfriend so we can speed up the process of me sleeping with you. That's not what you want. You also don't want to give them some sort of arbitrary date like 2 weeks, 3 weeks, 90 days, that's all they will be looking forward to, and they won't actually be building a relationship with you, or they'll just be trying to pretend long enough to get to that point. You don't want that either. What you want to do, and I think we talked about this in yesterday's show, or was it the day before, where you're basically going to do, as weird as it sounds, you're going to say a whole lot of nothing. Okay? So what do I mean by that? You get asked the question, right? A man asks you, when is the appropriate time that we can sleep with each other? You say, you know what? I'm in a place where I really want to focus my energy on building my connection with a guy and understanding him and feeling like we know where we're heading towards. And I know that if me and a man are aligned in our goals, that all of that stuff will fall into place. And I know that if I'm so rigid on a date or a time, I'm not going to allow myself to really soak in the experience of meeting and building this connection. And I know that that's the most important part to a long-term relationship. So I really want that to be my focus, not on some random date, because the day doesn't matter. What matters is the level and the depth of my connection with the guy. You see how that works? You didn't say anything. You didn't give them any date. You didn't give them any goal to set. You didn't tell them, hey, I'm not sleeping with you right now, or I'm not going to sleep with you for until 2 weeks or 3 weeks or anything like that, right? You gave them this abstract concept that sounds like you really know what you're talking about, because you do know what you're talking about, but it doesn't give them any real information that they can say, perfect, I'm going to wait 90 days and fake it for 90 days until I get what I want from you, okay? It's just very arbitrary where he's just going to have to say, I'm basically going to have to take it day by day. But here's the good part about that. Guys who are serious about you, they won't mind that answer because they'll plan on building with you anyways, where it won't matter if they sleep with you today or they sleep with you tomorrow or 3 weeks from now. But guys who are looking to speed this process up and get it over with as soon as possible, they will find that answer very, very frustrating. And they'll try to twist your arm to get you to give them a date or give them a specific time period. When I'm your boyfriend, is it going to be 3 months? Is it going to be 2 weeks? Or they'll do this thing where they'll try to convince you when you give that answer of depth and, real deep connection, they'll try to convince you that your connection is already deep. And they'll say, but we've already gone super deep. We've already had a whole bunch of heart-to-hearts. We're already as close as we can possibly be. We know everything about each other. You want to know why he's doing that? Because he's trying to convince you we're already there. That also should be a clue to you that, oh, he's not here for the right reason, okay? So never in a million years are you going to be giving up valuable information like that, because guys only want to use that to get the one up on you. Right? You're going to give them a word salad, as weird as it sounds, okay? You're going to give them a word salad that doesn't actually tell them anything. Then you gauge his response to see if that word salad frustrates him or if he's perfectly fine with that because he's going to be here for the long term anyways. Trust me, a guy who's here for the long term won't mind that answer. A guy who wants to get this over with quick is going to be very frustrated with that answer because it doesn't actually tell him anything concrete. Okay. Now, as it relates to how do you discern from love bombing versus just talk, we talk about that a lot in the show, right? And one of the main things is obviously action. So when a guy tells you, so guys will do this. I love you so much. I, want to spend the rest of my life with you. Okay, so do that, right? Or he'll say, oh, I want to do so much for you. I want to take you here. I want to do this for you. I want to buy this for you. I want to take you to fancy dinners. I want to spend a lot of money on you. And he'll say this and it sounds good. But if you don't actually see him doing that and you don't actually have an experience of him doing that, it's just talk. And I know it sounds very simple, but sometimes a guy can talk so good, you start to feel like he's actually doing it, but he actually hasn't. And you have to be aware enough and not in la la land that even when he starts talking to you about what he's about to do, you don't let that get you so excited that you start dealing with him and the relationship as if he's already done it. You only deal with him based on what he's actually done for you. And so if you start noticing that he starts to have a lot of promises that are empty to you and within the relationship, whether it be small or large, then that should be a sign to you that he's not really about what he says he's about. He's just about trying to make you believe in something that will hopefully get him closer to being able to sleep with you. Okay? All right, chat. That is the Christmas special show for today. For those of you who have a question for me, that you want to ask me, whether it be in our free relationship Discord section or our premium relationship Discord section, you can ask it of me and I will answer it live on the show. You can submit your questions there. For those of you who are wondering, I got to say this early on. For those of you who are wondering where I'll be when I'll be back, I've decided tomorrow there's going to be no show because I have lots to do tomorrow. Okay. I had to consider my schedule. I have a lot to get done tomorrow, and obviously you have to be with family. And I think it's a time for you guys to also be with family. We'll regroup, and come Boxing Day on the 26th, we will have a show. So no show on Christmas Day, but we'll have a show on Boxing Day. We're going to have a show on the 27th, 28th, the 29th, and then no show again on New Year's, because New Year's Eve, you guys will all be out, going out, enjoying your lives. So I want you to enjoy your life, okay? All right. So for those of you who are on TikTok and you want to follow me on Instagram, my Instagram is just above my head on the top left corner of the screen. Okay, it's Tomisin_Atub. And for those of you who are on YouTube, you can follow me. Go into my description and you'll find my Instagram username there to follow me as well. For those of you who are on TikTok and you want to rewatch the show from start to finish, maybe you missed some parts, you came late, or you just want to rewatch the parts that made you laugh, go ahead to my top of the screen on the top right corner. Type in my name on YouTube, Tomisin, Tomisin. Go onto my YouTube page, and you'll be able to see this live stream and all the other live streams I've done since the beginning of time. Make sure you go into the live section, because there's my main section and then there's the live section. Go into the live streams. You'll see this one, all the other ones I've done, and you'll have the YouTube and the TikTok chat embedded in the video, so you won't miss a second of conversation that we have on the show. Okay? I love you all so much. I'm here every weekday, Monday to Friday at 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So obviously tomorrow's Christmas. I won't be here tomorrow, but I will be back on the 26th. Okay. So the 26th is Thursday. Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, right? I'll be back on Thursday and we'll have another great show. We'll be back to our regular scheduled programming. I won't be wearing this, okay? And we'll have lots of fun. We'll talk more about relationships, love, and life. And you guys can catch me up on if you got some of your Christmas presents that you wanted, okay? I hope some of you are getting that Tracy's dog for Christmas. I hope so, all right? I'll see you guys on Thursday. Have a great Christmas, a Merry Christmas, or just a happy holidays if you're not religious or don't celebrate Christmas. Enjoy your time. Stay safe. Have fun. Build relationships. Laugh. Have joy. You can watch me as well. I'm going to be posting even on Christmas. It never stops. I post on Christmas too. And I'll reconvene with all of you beautiful people on Thursday, okay? On Boxing Day, when we're all going out and getting secondary presents, okay? I love you so much. Goodbye for now. Hasta la vista. Adios. Sayonara. Ciao. Salam. Arrivederci. Bon voyage. Merry Christmas and a happy holidays. Ho, ho, ho. And I'll see you on Thursday. Okay? The 26th.